what's going on? Um, Want to describe some things about like how basically homosexuality is kind of facilitated and created by learned behavior. It's not just genetic, because if it was just genetic, these institutions and stuff that cause it wouldn't be so around and prevalent. I mean, you can watch the movie Training Day. I love to use this movie like as a reference, even though it's fictionalizations of actual truths. Like, you'll find more truth, even though it's based in a fictional format, in a fictionalization, than you will actually have someone just come straight out and be honest. Like on The Dearly Departed, when the dude he says, there's no one more full of shit than a cop on TV, and this is a true statement. Uh, but basically, I remember going to the state fair. I was up in Saginaw, Michigan, and I watched a bunch of male pigs in this pen, right? And this male pig, mounted another male pig and tried to put its thing, and the other pig was like running in a circle while the other pig was mounting him and with his thingy hanging out. And you could argue and say that, oh, look, animals do it. Yeah, they do, but there's a very strict criteria that they do it. It's when you have a caged animal, and it's caged with another. If you have two males, they might come on to one another. It's not that they want one another. They want to mate, because it's like it's seasonal. Like animals, pheromones kick on during a certain season. Uh, so they get that kind of itchy feeling, and you can see them operate sometimes like that. But look, out in the wild, you don't see two male deers trying to mount each other. It don't even work like that. I've seen female dogs try to get it on with one another, but they were confined. There was no males around. You know what I'm saying? So Training Day, in it, he says, "Do you want it?" He goes, "You know why they call it the Boom Boom House?" Okay, there's like so many things, like they've been trying to sodomize the whole society through prison culture. Like dudes will rape other dudes in prison, and they'll be like, I'm not gay, he's gay, type of a thing. But it's like, no, it's all just, it's a homo act, man. And it comes heavily out of prisons. And then you can look at something called the Gay Manifesto. We will touch your boys in the principal's office and in the locker rooms. Like, look, whoever wrote the Gay Manifesto was like, we're going to go straight to the sources of power, and we're going to be waiting with one hand. We're going to have one hand on our zipper, waiting for a chance to sodomize one of your men. I mean, they didn't care about the girls. It sounds like they want to rape dudes in the butt. Sorry to be blunt about it and just call it like it is, but like, look. And this is where they do that at, where it's like a sport of raping new fish in the butt, is in prison and jail. And come to find out, a lot of the Genesee County police officers now are homos, and I've noticed that, like, Nero was a homo, and some of the homos of history, Alexander the Great too. There's another one. He was a Hermie type. He's swinging. In that one movie, it portrays like he's actually almost like a Tammuz like of a character. He lived it, where his mother was he kind of had a Semiramis complex, where he might have been in love with his mother. And this is where I've been listening to the Sigmund Freud book, and dude, I feel dirty when I listen to these fathers of psychology, because all they talk about is banging their mother all the time. It's so gross, and it's like, and these guys like reference fables always, like all these legends, Aesop's fables, Greek legends, Viking myth, Norse myths. It's all legend, but they hate on on a Bible, but yet they quote all these, like, look, in some of these tales and these legends and these myths and these fairy tales do have some kind of like lessons in it and knowledge, like encoded information, encoded lessons, but it's just philosophy, man. And all philosophy can do that, but philosophy can also go totally to, it could be a real great way to indoctrinate someone. But anyway, it's like there's something to do with being in a prison mindset and sodomy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about hardcore sodomy, no women, men just pouncing on men, uh, and anything else. You know what I'm saying? That's that'll work for their purposes. Like it was in Sodom and Gomorrah. It like look. Here's the thing. See, I'm thinking now. It there's a in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot is in there, and these angels come to visit him, and these men are outside. It's all men. It didn't say the women. It said the men were like, we want to know these men, like so they didn't say that necessarily that these men were angels. It was like these guys could sniff out there was new fish. There were some new bung holes to bust, basically. So they were all lobbied outside of Lot's door, waiting for these guys to come out so they could cornhole them. You know what I'm saying? Freaking savagely. And maybe they didn't know they were angels. They just thought it was some new fish. You know what I'm saying? Some strange they could get into, which is pretty sickening. And once again, that's a very, look, if you can have men waiting outside your door for your company to come out so they can rape them, that's no different than prison. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's like the homos, it seems like, I'm not saying that, look, I'm not talking down on anyone or trying to belittle anyone or anything about this, but it seems like they're so tormented by knowing that what they're doing is kind of taboo that it drives them to this kind of sadistic, this high level of sadism of this, like, they love to cause trauma, pain, and hurt people and shock them. And it's like, it's almost like before they ever get their hands down your pants, they're trying to mind F you and then trying to get you to somehow validate. It's like a narcissist. They're sitting there and they're hunting for a reaction. Everything they do is geared to get a rise or a fall out of you, like some kind of reaction. Either you show disgust, you show you don't like that, apprehension, you show, yeah, I'm okay with that, I'm open to that, and then they'll work with off your reactions. So they're totally counter hit fighters in a way. If you were to, you know what I'm saying? It seems like they're doing one thing, they're doing this song and dance, but it's really all an act so they can judge if they can come out to you or not, or how far they can inject. You know what I'm saying? What they're trying to get across, or Inquisition style, like pull out of you. You know what I'm saying? It's really messed up though. But there's something about being in confined, the trauma from being in. It's kind of like, since everyone's already traumatized, like, since they're in the bad situation, they become desensitized to trauma things. So now they go around just, like, basically it's what's on the inside. They're feeling bad about being, locked down or whatever. So they just give way to totally just not caring about anything at all, anything right or wrong. There's, like, the rules change. And you can hear it from their own testimonies about being confined, like men in particular. And like I said, yeah, and it's like, see, there's the best thing. They got the homosexuals running the prisons. They got homosexuals running the gangs in the prisons. Like, for instance, the FBI is started by a flaming cross-dresser guy. So, I mean, like, look, there's a pink swastika kind of tie. There's a tie to to tyranny and homos, man. I mean, I know it sounds really uh, like you think Pink Boys, Pink Boy, you're next. It's like you think about them and you think that that they're all like sheepish and coyish and timid and lack of confidence, but no, quite the contrary. They're totally sophisticated uh, psyopers, dude, and just always trying to inject, project, control, tyrannize through subterfuge as well, dude. Like the pink swastika is about how the occultists in Germany were all secretly, bisexuals, uh, and when they came to power to get the image of I'm a manly man, they went and killed all their gay lovers, and there's even some rumor on the street that there's some of that stuff just happened recently with some of more recent famous people. That once, when they were a nobody, they're in the bathhouse, you know what I'm saying? You know, snorting blow, banging dudes, but when they, hit high notoriety, these guys had accidents, you know what I'm saying? Or, they accidentally shot themselves twice in the chest and once in the head, you know what I'm saying? Situations. So there's something really, really like crazy going on. There's something hidden that this influence, and the animals, when they're free and they're doing what they're meant to be doing, they don't go that way. But in confinement, the animals get confused, and then that's what it appears to me anyway. I can't speak animal. I can't hear their thoughts or read their mind, but observation skills and empirical skills. I've seen this a few times. I've had some time to consider it and ponder it. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like it's the same thing. You get by force, you're taken down and confined, and then you take things by force because it was done to you. Do unto others as was done unto you. So it's all in the whole rap thing, dude, with the sag in your pants, freaking singing songs about girls' butts, but secretly these guys came out of prison and they're really thinking about dudes' butts, and they're trying to get us freaking they're trying to steer us, into to get appetite for these fleshly desires, and then that'll crack the door open at some point for the aggressive conniving type of sadomasochistic homos to come in and really wreak some havoc on people's lives. So they're not just like all look, just sissies, man. They're not. These are men, like regular men with regular men's like strength and power and prowess, and that are doing this as well. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing, the mystery religion, all their gods were hermaphrodite. They were men who dress as women. So in a way, our society is built off this old god mythology, like gods and goddesses of Egypt, the gods of Egypt. One of the brothers raped his other brother in the butt, and then the sister helped the other brother get the other brother and kill him and take his butt back. In other words, I mean, it's really sickening. This is this stuff, the same stuff that Freud loves to whack off with Vaseline to at the Milgram experiment. Freaking, it's really nasty stuff, really dirty. Like, look, when I research a lot of this stuff, I feel really dirty. And I've done some pretty dirty things myself, dude. But this stuff, really, they go push it way too freaking far. You know what I'm saying? And it's by design. It's not because if to truly be emasculated and effeminated, it's like the person totally has lost their true potential in a way. So that's why the people try to do it. They try to emasculate you.